Hey everybody, good morning, good morning. I've been feeling a little rough this weekend. I don't know how much energy I'll have today, but we'll give it a shot here. Try to push through. The list is pretty long, and four people out there. Let's see if you guys and gals, can guess who the four people are that control 1.1 trillion dollars. $1.1 trillion of market cap out there. 1.1 trillion. I mean, they're all U.S. people. My dad was trying to guess. He was guessing some Chinese people, and I mean, they're people you would know. It's almost blatantly obvious who the names would be. Well, for the most part, maybe the fourth one. The fourth one you might have a little trouble. You got Elon. That's an easy one, right? Elon's number one, or one of the ones. Our man, Bezos, maybe. There you go. You got three. There you go. Zuckerberg, Bezos, Elon. That's three. Who's the fourth? Who's the fourth? We throw in there to get the 1.1 trillion. Who's the fourth? So we got Jeff, Elon, and Mark. Dun, dun, dun. It's not Gates. It's Mr. Ellison. Larry Ellison. Oracle. He has a large stake in Oracle. It's Elon, Mark, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and Larry Ellison. The four of them combined control $1.1 trillion of market cap. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that absolutely crazy? Just wild. I think it's wild that they control that much of the pie. And how about this though? NVIDIA, several guesses were about, the guy that controls NVIDIA. Think about this. One out of every two people that work for NVIDIA have a net worth more than $25 million at this point. That seem like things are getting a little crazy? I think that kind of indicates that things are getting a little bit above the skis. I mean, you can say what you want to, but seems like things are getting a little crazy out there. But this is an interesting chart. I'm going to pop up right here, pull it over, share my screen. Check this one out right here. Look at this. This is Alphabet, Google, Meta, Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, NVIDIA, Tesla. Now, this is current price to earning, look at it, PE kind of numbers here. If we bump out with 0% price growth, no price growth, just the projected earnings growth of each of these companies. Isn't that kind of crazy how that, and this is for, this is going out to 2040. That's interesting. And then if we have a 8% price growth, and we have a 15% price growth, that's the last one over there. Kind of shows how things aren't as crazy expensive as it seems like they are. Maybe. I like to look at price to sales because you can't fake sales. You can fake earnings. But a lot of people pay attention to the earnings numbers because that's what gets reported when we do earnings, right? I mean, when they do their earnings reports, we report earnings. We don't report sales. I mean, sales are part of it, but everybody's still focused on earnings. But you can fake earnings. You can't really fake the sales. So, and I'm going to have to sneeze. Excuse me. Golly. Yeah, something caught up with me this weekend. Anyway, so check this out right down here. Look at this alert hanging out. That's an echo of the 2018 move on gold right there. That finished up, that hit. Loaded up. I mean, that alert came through overnight last night. So we've got that. This did exactly what I thought it was going to do. Look at that. I thought we were going to plummet out on the reopen. But we retraced it all the way back up here overnight. Did exactly what I thought we were going to do. I thought we were going to keep going down. Trump supposed to throw out tariffs on metals today. All aluminum not made in the United States, or not refined, or whatever you want to say in the United States, going to get a 25% tariff. All steel not refined in the United States, supposed to get a 25% tariff. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, that's my quote too. Like, a lot of things I say are old market adages. You can fake earnings, but you can't fake sales. I mean, that's kind of my, I guess one of my guru people kind of led me into that thought process once upon a time. But that's one of my ways I view the market, is that you can't fake sales. So anyway, that was the market reopen last night on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and we've kind of rallied up. So looking at the bigger picture here, where are we? Well, we might be about to go cruising right up here to the target. We're going to have to break above that point right there. We've got a downturn of highs cooking. We're going to have to break above it. Otherwise, if this violently reverses off of that, we're probably going down. So this is very much a coin flip still. Very much not clear. Very, very much. So there'll be an alert, Robin, and you should not have taken it with real money if you don't understand how the trade works. The masterclass goes through the instructions, and then the channel in Discord has the instructions pinned right into the, or not even pinned, but in the description of the channel, right in there, the instructions. So, and it may still exit for profit because this thing was ripping, although pulling back a bit after hitting that high. Spiked up, pulling back. We'll see what happens. See what happens. It's interesting on S5TW. We hit that upper end, and we've been rolling back down. If I turn it off log mode, it'd probably look a little better. So this is just a giant market oscillator. We oscillate, but we're not ever going above 100, and we're not ever going below 0 on this chart. This is the S&P 500 stocks above their 20-day moving average. If you've never seen this before, S5TW, how do you trade it? You don't. It's an index. As far as I know, there's no instruments that allow you to trade this, but this is going down to the bottom more than likely. Now, it could bounce here in the middle. We've done that plenty of times in the past without going all the way to the bottom. But usually, we go visit the lower end here before we go cranking back to the top. Just typically what we do. At lower end, at least down in the 30 area, 20 and 80 are kind of the extremes. And then the super extremes, where we don't usually stay very long, 90 and 10. We hit the 90 on the upside or the 10 on the downside, we're probably going to get a market reversal. So if you've never seen this before, there you go. There's something new. S5FI, which is stocks above their 50-day. Now, this is where it gets kind of interesting, because this one was at the bottom and is probably going to go back up to the top. So S5TW that smaller time frame needs a little recharge, needs stuff to pull back a little bit so we can take it back to the upper end. And this one right here looks like we may chop a little bit before we go cruising on to the top. Now, going on up another higher time frame, S5TH, stocks above their 200-day. Looks like we're grinding toward the bottom. Eventually, this is where we need to go. We've been at the top for a while. We're going to need to go visit the bottom. It's just how the market works, all right? We tend to oscillate between the top and the bottom and the top and the bottom. Got kind of this uptrend of lows in place here. We may dip down, touch it before we can pop out. It's possible. Or this could be good enough and we go ripping up, make a new high, higher than what we had so far before we get to the bigger downtrend. Which way it's going, I don't know. We could just use these as kind of an indicator of where the market might head next. So small time frame indicates we might need more downside. Medium time frame indicates we're kind of churning and we might go higher. Long-term time frame indicates we might be on a downward path. We'll see. This could also pop back to the top before we meet the ultimate down path. But last time we were at the bottom, recently we were at the top. We didn't push it out to extremes like we usually do before we roll over. Usually we get way on up in the 90s before we make a big rollover. Doesn't always happen that way though. You see back here in 2016, 2017, 2018, we just kind of tap, 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 and then to the bottom. Back up to the top. And that was in 2019 into 2020. And then we quickly dropped to the bottom during COVID. Then we came right back up to the top, made the high in April, and the market didn't roll over until right here in January of 2022. We actually made higher highs into this point right here. So it just kind of indicates this is like market participation as the market concentrated. And we made that high right there where the most stuff was making new highs above their 200-day moving average. And then we bled that off, bled that off, bled that off, bled that off, even though the market was making new highs until the point where it gave up. And then we went down. So it's not necessarily the market making new highs on this chart. It's just the participation rate. Like how many stocks are participating in whatever move we're doing. And right now we're kind of down here in the middle. Around 57% of stocks are above their 200-day moving average, while the S&P is not that far off the all-time high. Not that far. I apologize if you're new here and this is like, whoa, that's a lot of fib lines. We've been keeping track of a lot of different twists and turns in the market. A lot of different twists and turns. We can kind of simplify it up at this point. We have a major resistance coming up there, potentially. Just remove a couple of these. Look, last major pullback, that high, that low, back there in August. And we're just kind of sitting at the 1618, grinding, grinding, grinding. Next one up could be the 272. But let's go for this high, this low, this pullback, smaller time frame. It really kind of gives us this potential to top out right in this zone right there. Then we may pull back again. Haven't visited the daily roadmap line since back in August. And, well, we tend to use that as support and resistance. We haven't visited it in a while. You know, last time before August, it was back here. Thank you, alerts. Back here in November. So that one took 10 months to get there. Bunch of alerts firing off. Bunch of alerts. Now, looking at the NASDAQ, chopping around, has not been able to break above this downtrend of highs here. I look at the futures because they trade basically 23 hours a day, 6 days a week. They're closed Friday evening through Sunday evening. There is like a 48-hour kind of period in there, but it gives you the most complete picture of what's going on. So I look at the futures. The NQ is the NASDAQ 100 futures, same as NDX, but it trades 24/7 or 23/6 basically. So this one coming up strong since the reopen here. If we can break above this level, sets the stage for going higher. If we reject off of it, probably setting the stage to go deeper again. We've been holding the July high really well so far. We may visit it again, and we may just do this for a couple months. That would kind of be really frustrating, but that might be what we do. If we can't break below that July high, and we can't break through this downtrend of highs, this may just keep doing this till we run out of room somewhere over here. How frustrating would that be? Market has this special ability to frustrate the most number of traders it possibly can. Russell has not been able to test into this resistance right here. 2360. It's kind of centered on there. It's plus or minus a little bit. We're just kind of bouncing in here. Roadmap line holding it up. If you're like, what is this roadmap line? You know, how do I find out about it? You can go to the channel homepage. Right under me here, click my name, my little logo. Go to the channel homepage. The video that I have pinned on there is the roadmap line. Like, it gives you the code. And it tells you how it works. If you're like, I'm not too swooped on putting code in something and figuring it out, that's okay. In the description, on the bigger box, we click the button, it says more. You can expand that out. The video description down there. Down there, I have a link for $5. You can get the easy button. You just click that link, put it right in your chart. If you're like, oh, I don't want to use TradingView. Well, there's other platforms available if you wanted to have it that way. You want to use something else. So TradingView is super easy. I highly recommend it for a lot of people, but it's not for everybody. So this is resistance right there, and that's support at the roadmap line on the daily. Russell. Oil coming back up. If we can break through the roadmap line, this might go cruising back up into this 80 to 90 area right up there pretty quickly. And a nice big up go right there. Now, the interesting thing here, Trump says he's going to do everything in his power to keep oil prices low. And there's not a lot left if you don't have a strategic petroleum reserve that's got any oil in it. Drill baby drill is not bullish on prices, but it doesn't instantly put oil on the market either. So that's usually like a 2-year, 18-month, 2-year lag from when you start drilling to when that oil starts hitting the market. So this might pop up, come up in here, could get a little extra spicy up in there. We'll see what happens there. Oh, you're welcome, David. Skaggs. Hope you made some money. Cool. I like it when a plan comes together. We get out. Oh, look at that beautiful candle. Look at that beautiful candle. Check back out in that 15 minutes. Still retracing a little bit. That's beautiful. That maybe, we may be setting this thing up to go to 3,000. Very possible. But I'm very cautious right now. We have the perfect kind of setup for a larger correction. See this guy right here? Guy, gal, silver. This rejected off of that 618 zone, indicating that something's not right in the metals market. This may be cruising right back down in here. Be a lower high on GDX. Potential lower high on GDXJ. Very cautious right now. Something's not quite right in the metals. And that one move up may need a retrace. down into the back to the roadmap line, basically a 618 retrace here before we can go up big. That's kind of what I'm seeing in GDX. One swift move off the blows, we may get a violent retrace here. You know, what about GLD? Yeah, it's kind of all the same. I look at the futures because, well, you see how gappy. Perfect example here. See how gappy this is? All the space between the candles. When you go look at the gold futures chart, you really start filling all that in. You don't really see many gaps. You know, there are a couple, but you don't really see that many. You know, this one's a contract rollover right there. More complete picture of data. I'm basing a lot of my trading decisions off of the data. So if you have incomplete data, how do you make good decisions? So I'm watching for this to retrace back to the roadmap line. That's the deal right there. Dun dun dun. Bitcoin sitting here on that 618 retrace. Now you may not be able to see it very well on this chart. So let's go to the spot market. This is what I'm talking about right here. This is what I'm talking about. Let's just clean these off real quick. This low right here, this high right here, we came back to a 618 retrace. Maybe like, well, you know, that's just one candle. Check it out. Drop down a couple time frames. There you go. That was the initial bounce right there. Went up very violently and then came back down right to a 618. And we've been holding. I mentioned if we can hold that and then break back above this level up here, it's a rocket ship, baby. Target probably up here. So at this point, I'm looking for this low to hold and the break above this level right up here at about 100,500 roughly. If we can get through that, probably going on up. Target would be right up here around 110 to 115,000 on that next move. That low, that high, that low. Yep, right there. 110 to 115 roughly. What's the time frame? I don't know. It could take a few days, could take a couple weeks. It's got to get going. If it breaks down though, if we get below this low right here, we start failing. We're probably coming on down here in the 88, 90, maybe even on down to 85. Right down here. It's a very important level right now. We got to get above this, or otherwise break down below that, probably coming down here. Ethereum still in a downtrend, may need another flush. Might go retest the lows. We do have that same kind of pattern though. Initial move up and 618 retrace. If we can hold that 2,500, break back above that high right up there at 2,900, break back through the downtrend of highs, sets us up to go on up. This is part of a different, bigger corrective pattern. Now, if this fails, though, this one could go down to the triple digits. Yeah, like 700. That's a long way down. Maybe like not possible. It's okay. We'll see. We'll see. I'd like to see it break higher. I'm long some Ethereum still, so still biased up, but it's certainly making me wonder. NKD, this is kind of a global liquidity, kind of check in with global liquidity, looking at the Japanese stock market. We're just kind of churning in this zone, not really breaking up, not really breaking down, just kind of sitting in this zone here. So global liquidity not really playing much. This could come back alive here. It's one to watch out for. If we break through the bottom, we can see this come back alive really quickly and create a mass freak out like we had back in July. Or July into August. DXY. Send up another little retrace. We hold the 618 on that one. Can lead to a bigger down. That high, that low, and that resistance right there, 108, 109, 108.97-ish. So we may see that rally up one more time. Now, if we break through it, we could go making new highs. Top of the box is still up there around 111. We haven't touched it yet. We may need to go touch that 111 area, test it before we actually get the bigger down. Dollar, when you zoom out and look at it, really looks like it wants to go down again. Go visit some lower levels on the bigger picture, bigger time frame. Maybe like, well, Trump wants a strong dollar, so that blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. These charts are all going to do what they want to do. All right, I go pull all the things moving $2 or more up in the pre-market and put it on the gainers list. I'm going to find everything moving $2 or more down in the pre-market and put it on the decliners list. And we look for opportunities. I do this every day. So if you like that sort of thing, make sure you subscribe and put a reminder in your phone to come watch me. We kind of look for this every day. And Monday, moving up $72. Has the nice bounce, and the target is coming up here at 341 right there. 356 possible above that. HubSpot looks like, Lee moving up 30. Next upside fib somewhere around, let's just clean this up. Clean it up. Yeah, somewhere around 851 looks like right there. I haven't looked at this one in a while. ROK, the Rockwell Automation. Nice little pop, but it's still in the churn right there. Like, we zoom out and look at this for years now. This hasn't gone anywhere. It's basically the same place it was in 2021. Not really going anywhere. We've gone up, we've gone down, and we've just kind of stayed in the middle. So this is not one I particularly feel strongly about doing anything right now. But when we look at this low, this high, we did a 618 bounce. If we can break above all this sideways chop crap, start pushing higher, we might be able to see this come on up into this zone. We're going to need it to break above these highs right here. Starts doing that, has the ability to come on up here. There's your kind of level, right around 312. We get above 312. Sets it up for that. And funny enough, if you look at this, that high, that low, that's right where the 618 is, 308. So that is a resistance zone right there. We start getting through it. Sets it up for that move. Now, it may find a little resistance at this 360 area. So if it may hit that, pull back before we do that. Right there. Do that. All right. AXSM. Axiom. This is biotech. I don't generally follow biotech at all. I just don't find it reliably tradable. Not for me, so I'm going to pass. FNGU. We've talked about this. Feels like ad nauseum, and this one's indicating that the market is probably going higher. All our leverage stuff is kind of indicating we're going higher. This is no different. This is FANG. TQQQ. Already set up the going higher trade. SPXL. Cool. Love it when I type the wrong thing and it freezes. Cool. SPXL. Already set up the going longer trade, going long trade, going higher trade. We'll see if it can actually play out here. Can it actually cut the mustard? Is the mustard thick enough to cut? ASML. Consolidating under the roadmap line. I think this is going to need... Been pretty adamant about this for months now. I think we're going to have to dip to the lower 600s before we can actually bounce and get out of here. ISRG. Just grinding higher. It's another medical specialty thing. They make the Da Vinci robot. And... excuse me. That looks like it's rock and rolling higher. 664 next upside. Last big pullback was back here. It just keeps rocking. This will do another pullback at some point, but hey, I don't know. I'm a trend pullback continuation trader, so when I get the pullback, we get the continuation like this right here. T-Mobile pulled back to the roadmap line. Now we're up at the target again. This is time to be careful and protect profits. We could go a little higher, 271, but it's likely to get another pullback. Applovin. Like I said, looks like it wants to do a pullback. But we're just hanging in the box. It's kind of been in that box for a while. We made a high back here. We haven't made new highs. Just kind of churning. Could break out and go higher. Possible. And if it does the same thing we did over here, this is the funny thing about this chart right here. When we put it in log mode, we did this same sort of churn, and then we dipped. We're doing the same sort of churn. We could dip and then get the rip. This would be an echo, like I talked about the gold alert there at the beginning. GC1 exclamation point. When I said there was a 2018, we're going to jump up higher time frames here. See this move right here, 2018 up, and then we consolidated, made a low, and that echo right there. The market tends to do the same kind of moves off the same kind of consolidation right there. Did another consolidation. Made the move, and we made the move. May do another consolidation. Possible. Could extend the move. Hard to say. Jump it back down where we were. On app. It could copy that consolidation. You could see it pull back down to 275 before it launches on higher. If it does that, it could go way on up here, like 1700. That'd be absolute nuts, but hey, it's possible. NUE still below the roadmap line. Be careful, be careful, be careful. Permacautious on everything. The market will take your money faster than anything else in the world. Be careful. If you're not being careful trading the market's going to teach you a lesson. That looks like it's going low and lower. MSTR. Not going to lie and say I'm not concerned here, but we may do an echo down right there. Holding up really well at that 618 level. That low, that high. See that? Holding it really well. That could project us up much higher. If we break down below that low we had last week, this may come down to the roadmap line very quickly. Could do it in a day. Then we go up. I don't know. Or if we can just break out here, let's go up. I'd like to see Bitcoin turn now and not get any more crappy consolidation, but since when does the market do what I want it to do? Spotify up there at the targets. We have a resistance zone on up to about 750, and then we'll probably get a retrace. This is going exponential. Usually when we see exponential, we get a violent retrace. See them over here. Spotify has done this in the past. These violent retraces. Be careful. Doesn't have to go down as far as it did before. can just retrace to the breakouts before we go on up. STLD. Steel Dynamics. That's been sideways for quite a while. I don't really expect it to break out or break down at this point. Got this kind of first move down, retrace. It may go down deeper now if we hold below the 618 level. Adobe still set for the bigger down. Here's the support level, and then down here, possible 2. That may have been close enough. We just scraped the top of the bubble, but I think we've got one more. As long as we're below the roadmap line here, the daily roadmap line, there's still downward pressure, and we can get one more flush in Adobe. And if it doesn't hold there, it's possible we go on down here. SMCX, that's a 2x long on SMCI. Just go look at the underlying, see what's up. And it's a downtrend. Be careful. Been warning about this one since we did this stuff over here way before the split. Still likely to go back, make a lower low. You can trade whatever you want to. Like, I'm not telling you not to trade it. I'm just saying be careful, all right? You can lose your money just as fast as anybody else. PTIR. Let's just go look at the underlying PLTR. We are sitting at that target. What is the likely thing to do? Retrace. Does it have to? No. The last time we touched it was August. How far over the skis can we get before we do a big retrace? You tell me. This thing is absolutely insanely priced. Right here. When I talk about can't fake sales, look at this. Price to earnings, 400. Price to sales, 66. Absolute crazy. That's a crazy number. 66. Anything over 20 price to sales. So it's going to take a PLTR at the current sales for a year. Maybe that's a quarter even. Yeah, that was a quarter. At the current sales for a quarter, it's going to take 66 years. Go to annual. It's going to take 65 years, basically. 65 years of sales at the current rate to justify the current price of PLTR. Take 400 years of earnings at the current rate to justify PLTR. Just think about that a minute. How much upside opportunity is there? I don't know. I mean, it can keep being crazy. Things can remain irrational way longer than you can stay in the trade. Betting against it. Way longer than you can stay solvent. So, doesn't have to retrace. It can go on up here and be crazier. So that PTIR, just make your measurements on PLTR. If you think it's going up to the next targets, make that measurement. Use the tool right here. Like, well, I think it's going up another 50%. So that'd be a 100% gain on PTIR. If you think it's coming down to the roadmap line, like, I think it's going to retrace 50%. That'd be probably not going to go down 100% on PTIR, but it's going to hurt on PTIR. That's how you do it. Take that, and then take it over here to the leveraged chart. So a 50% retrace could be devastating to this, is what that says. So definitely be careful. They'll probably reverse split it before it's that devastating, but coin, this has that look like it's going to do a double hit of the roadmap line before we can bounce here. It didn't actually hit right there. We came up just shy of touching. Baba. Yeah, this one's set to go rocking and rolling right up here. 124, 125. BDRX, nope. Pharmaceutical stuff, be careful on biotech pharma. FU2U. Set up the move. Potential up to 144, but we're not getting the daily close above that 618. If it can, get out of this resistance zone. 144 will be the target. AVGO. If we can break out of this gap down zone. 260, 269 upside. MDB. Sitting at the resistance right there. If we can possibly get above that, we could start rallying up to the downtrend of highs. If we don't, it may be cruising on down to 100. McDonald's. I always joke about McDonald's, but I don't ever eat there. Just letting y'all know. For those of you that joke about it, like, I don't think I've ever had a McRib. 323, probably the next upside target here. We did gap down. This is a resistance zone right there. Pretty tight. If we can stick this today, it's kind of indicative that we may get continuation right up to that 323 area right there. Shopify. And watch for the retrace. A-Lab. Not being very bullish. That has a gap down there. Gonna have to beat it. Get back above 118 to go up to 160. GLD. Watch for the retrace. We haven't been down to the roadmap line since back here in February of last year. So it's been 12 months. This could violently retrace back to the roadmap line, hold, and set up the next bigger move. PDD has that bigger upside target, still intact, up here around 180. We're going to have to beat that big resistance zone to get there. GDXU, that may reject at that 618 right there. In fact, that's not even the right place. Yeah, pushing into it a little bit. We don't actually have a daily close above that yet. We close above it right here today. Could be indicative we're going on up, but be careful. If we reject back down, by the end of the day, this could come all the way back down. Or even just make a 618 retrace before we bounce. So somewhere down in here, somewhere down in here, somewhere down in here. Be careful on all those. CMC. Oh, this list was long today. Commercial Metals Company. Chopping sideways for years. Yeah. Pass. Oracle. Larry Ellison. This gap down. Popped up. Gap down again. Left this resistance up here. If we can push through it. 204, 210 up there. Not so sure we're going to do it, but looks to me it's more indicative we're going to... Oh, that was cool. Crash the drawing tool. Looks like it's more decoupled from the cursor. So we're more indicative we're going to do that. Reddit. Looks like it wants to retrace, but it may just keep grinding higher and higher and higher. 264. Eventually we run out of runway, but we'll see. Evercore. Double hit on the roadmap line. Rejected the 618 level right there. There's support right there. If we don't hold that, there's 10 o'clock. Alerts. Look at that move. That move. Potential to come on down here on EVR. If we break going down. Oil. Let's go look at natural gas. It did bounce off the roadmap line. If we stay above it, it's possible we go up again. Got resistance up here. Excuse me. If we break down below that roadmap line, though, back to $2 would be where I expect it to go. SPXL. Like I said, this is already set to go higher. We set up the entry, set up the expectation. 195 is the target. Ugly. Ultra Gold at the target. We did not hit the roadmap line, so this was a lower time frame, 4-hour type bounce. Took it a good long while to get there. You know, if you had taken the entry back here in December, you're just now getting to your target. DoorDash. Pushing out to new highs. 228 maybe, but watch for the retrace. JNUG. If this gets to close above the 618 today, we're probably going to set up the bigger move on up to 65-ish. Potential. TSM. Watch for that to actually hit the roadmap line. We missed it back here. Sitting at that 618 resistance. This may push down again, and it could possibly get the bigger move that takes it on down to about 170. PAMW. And we've kind of set up the potential for this to rally on up here. Pushing above that resistance. Sets up the target right up there, 213. Baidu. We can push above. Set this up here. Gonna have to push above this area right up here at 100. Sets up the potential to come on up to 123. We got 23% upside on shares. Not bad. But we've got to get through that resistance right up there. Nugget. Kind of the same as all these others. Like potential to push on up. But I think it's going to be a fake out. So that's be really careful. I've traded gold for a number of years. For those of you who know, my mom lost a bunch of money to a Ponzi scheme after she inherited a bunch of money from her parents. And I made the money back for her trading gold. Like I made the money back she lost trading gold for her. It's not like I'm new at trading gold. But right now I feel like we have the potential to get a fake out. It may retrace. So if you don't have enough time on, if you're buying long right now at some of these levels, you might get, then you don't go long enough, you might get stopped out. Or you might run out of time before we actually do it. So be careful. MicroStrategy, 8% series. Like, who knows what the fudge this is. Be careful. This looks crazy. AEM. Gold miner stock hitting highs compared to NEM that's just churning in here, not really getting above levels yet. So that 618 resistance up here at 49 on NEM right here. I did lighten up the load because I expect a retrace before we go higher again. ANET. Potential for that one if we can get above that gap. 139, 145. BitX. Watch for that to flush on down. This is leveraged Bitcoin, and looks like this has got downward pressure. That's why I'm concerned here on Bitcoin. Like the leverage is indicating we might flush. CWeb. We get above that resistance. Go cruising on up here. Target at 65. DDOG. Looks like we're going to hit the roadmap line. That's what it looks like to me. Gorilla Technology Group. That's just one initial pop. No real pullback. That little pullback didn't hit the roadmap line. Not really big enough to indicate much of anything. Possibly up to 28.31, but I would watch out for a bigger retrace here. That was pretty devastating downtrend here into this low. Reverse split in here. It's pretty much dumpster fire class stuff. I don't tend to trade stuff with reverse splits and dumpster fire price action, even when it does this, because it's highly likely to do this in the future. I can pull up hundreds of examples of stuff like that. Snow has this giant gap down we're going to have to beat. Watch out. I have this feeling when we get up in here, people that bought back here are going to start selling, and we may get a bigger retrace back down to the roadmap line. AMAT. has not been able to break up through the roadmap line yet. Roadmap line. That's resistance. We may go down lower. COHR. Churn and churn and churn. And if we can break above 120, this may go down to lower levels here. At this point, we've set up the potential. Come on down to the 65 to 70 area. Yen. Now, if this gets sparky, this one could. If we get above, I may actually trade this. But 66 would be the target if we can get above this right here. Upstart. Did not hit the roadmap line. May need a further downside. Shiny. 3x leverage on gold. That's at extreme. Be careful. May need a retrace. BST. Watch out for that to retrace. BP. Ooh. Trying to turn its luck around. Wow. What a retrace on that one. With this giant move down here. This might be a measured bounce on a non-log scale. Could take us up to this 54 area. Golly. Excuse me. So if we can break above the 618 level here, coming up right there around 36, could set this one up for a rally on up here to like 54. Whew, what a long list today. SMCI, like I said, watch out for. That's the bubble pattern, right? I mean, that's hard to argue this. Well, you can argue it all you want, but that's the bubble pattern. Never seen it before. Check it out right there. Rally up, rally up, rally up. Optimism, belief, thrill. Got to tell everybody to buy. People that aren't traders, like, hey, buy SMCI, buy NVDA. We heard that a lot. We're all geniuses. We're all going to be rich. Never going to have to work again. Then you get the initial pullback. You get some chop. You get that complacency. We just got to, we got to tell more people to buy. And then it starts breaking down below this chop, right? We chop, 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 breaks down. Uh-oh. Get a little anxiety. Get some denial. And you get some panic. Capitulation. You get angry about it. Depressed about it. This is a market cycle. I mean, that's right there. So this one right there, look, hard to argue, right? Ramped up like crazy. Chop, chop, chop. And right back down. I still think it has lower to go, potentially. ARKB. Watch for this one to retrace right here. BitU, another leveraged Bitcoin. Has that look like we might retrace a little deeper? Be careful. SMCL, another leveraged long on SMCI. Just watch out for the intermediate bounce here. TQQQ has the setup to go long. We're going to have to break out over those downtrend highs here. Got to break through that if we're going on up here to the target. BobX. 2x leverage on BABA. If you don't want to play options on BABA, this may be the way to play right here. This may come cruising right up here, 35. That'd be almost a, gosh, what is that, 45% gain? 35%. Not bad. 35% on shares. Don't even need options. Just 35% on shares right there. Potential. Time wouldn't matter. TTD. Nice potential bounce. We're going to get back above the 618. We go cruising on up to the target at 146. CRDO. Watch for a second bounce down here. Although it has the potential to go up to 91. Watch out for the decline here. QLD. Still grinding. This did set up the potential to break on higher. Another leveraged. This is like TQQQ, just a different brand. ProShares. If we can break through, 122 on the upside. FBTC. Be careful on leverage stuff, you know. FBTC, watch for that to drop down. This is just Bitcoin ETF right here. FBTC looks like it wants to flush, but do have an uptrend of lows. If we can break higher, right there. XME. That's a rough one. That high, that low. If we can break above the 618, 72, 74 on the upside. All right, we got a few decliners. Let's run through those real quick. SMTC. I don't know where, like, this is why I warn, you know, when we get to some point, that's it. And then we do a big retrace. And this one doesn't look like it's finding support anywhere that we've had support before. That broke through the breakout level. So that one's going on down. One big move up off the low. And if we can hold this zone, we could be a measured bounce. Possible. May come on down for a logarithmic. Maybe on the log scale. How do you know which one it is? You don't until it holds the level. So it could come on down here to this 28 level before we find support. You just don't know. Like, it's kind of based on algorithms, all right? You never know if the people that wrote the algorithms are running on log mode or not log mode until it starts respecting those levels. And I would probably guess log mode at this point. So now it could turn here. It could find support, turn. Possible. But it could come on down here. AZPN. 282 upside. Possibly 300 above that. Whew. Yeah, this is why I don't trade biotech. Look at that. Bleeding off on Friday and then gap down to a new low. That's why I don't trade biotech. CLS. And that hit the target. Watch for the bigger retrace. Gang. As yin, YINN turns bullish, this one's going to plummet to the abyss. Tech. Whew. That is a choppy, nasty chart. Got a reverse. Oh, that's a real split in there. Got a real split, but that's choppy sideways and looks like it's going to fall out of bed. ILMN. That one is falling out of bed. Might go down for a lower low. On. Watch for that to go on down. TSEM. Sitting at the roadmap line. If it pushes through, we may see a bigger, deeper retrace. This one right there. This one right there. Could see something like that. MSTI. Sitting on the roadmap line. Dust. 2x bear on gold miners. If gold miners keep ripping, it's going to keep going that way. But this may bounce up, hit the roadmap line. If we get that retrace in gold, like it might happen, then bounce down further. Schwab. Sitting at the resistance. Pulled back today. I would expect to bounce to the roadmap line. That's what I would expect. BRKR, broker. That was a bounce off the roadmap line. Funny how this works. Pushing through the 618, so probably going to extend it down to this area. Same pattern we were looking at on the upside, just upside down. Retrace to the roadmap line, held, breaking below the 618, extension lower, right there. ETHD, ultra short Ethereum. Wow. Just a little blip of a roadmap line, still way below it, so resistance is way up here. If Ethereum is going on down, this will probably climb. If Ethereum starts ripping, this will probably plummet down. ENTAP, just a lot of sideways chop. Looks like this may break below this support and flush down here. All right, that's the list for today. Bias for the day. What do I think we're going to do? It's possible. It's possible we get out of this funk. Showing some strength here. Showing some strength. We're in this resistance zone that I drew last week. We tried to break out right there on Friday and got rejected hard. Tried to break down yesterday on the restart and got rejected up. So we're just sitting in this resistance. If we can get out the top, confirm it, get above this downtrend of highs, right up here around 61.30 on the futures, probably going on up. Looking at the cash chart, S&P cash index, we've got the downtrend of highs cooking right here. That high, almost touched that high. So that's right around 6,100. If we can get above 6,100, that's about 40 points up. Probably indicating we're going on up in here. 61.50, 61.60, 61.80, somewhere in that zone. If we reject off of that again, watch out for that low right there at 61.20. So it may indicate we're coming on down into the 5,900 area. That's the levels to be watching on S&P. All right. I'll be back with you, same bat time, same bat channel tomorrow morning, 9:15. We'll do it all over again. Bye for now.